Well, there's a great problem when you talk to a group of people, and that is that to some extent you're subjecting at least some people there to what they don't want to put up with. You could be driving some people balmy. They don't have the courage or the nerve to leave the room and not come to your next talk. Or the next time you're in a group where they're going to be, they avoid it. Well, that's understandable. Or they come, of course, to the group, but they have to put up with you or else they can't come to the group, you know. This is the lovely thing about books, if you publish them, or YouTube, if you put anything on YouTube. People can choose. They can try one of your talks on YouTube or one of your books, and the first couple of pages they think, oh, this is not for me. And they put it down. Don't touch it again. Give it to someone they don't like. Or put it in the bin. Or in the case of YouTube, simply go on to something else. Can't be bothered to even say I don't like it. Just go on to something else. Make sure you don't hit the subscribe button by mistake. Do you see? It's a very good way of communicating, because you might want to bless people, so you want it to be there for them, but you don't want to give it to people that don't want to know, not because of any personal problem to yourself, or that could be if they take revenge on you, you know, but because there's no point, is there? I mean, they don't want to know. Jesus' start of a talk, those that have ears to hear, let them hear. And then he goes off into the, I don't know, up the mount. If you don't want to come to him, you don't. The thing is there, of course, that when you have a group of people, you're not aware of each individual. I mean, you can't be. You're probably focused on what you're saying, on the reaction of one or two people, and you plough on. And some people may be there solely with a malevolent purpose. You know, some, maybe. They don't want you spreading your particular views. Well, that's one problem when you're talking to groups. There's another problem, which is because it's a group, you're not getting feedback from every individual, and therefore you can't tailor your response to what's appropriate and what's best. And some of the things you're saying are going to create enemies. Do you therefore modify what you're saying, taking this into account? Possibly, and that might be a cost, mightn't it? Do you see it's an artificial way of communicating with people? To write a book or to record on YouTube, say? Because people who are malevolent will sift through what you say and try to use it to remove you from the public scene. Anathematize you or whatever. In short, I think I'm saying it's much safer just to communicate, to talk, face to face, one to one, with those who want to know. It's a third point I think I should bring up here, and that is that God doesn't constantly teach us. Not verbally, not face to face, not in conversation. If you want to come, then you have to inquire, ask, and it shall be given unto you. Seek, and you shall find. Do you see, this is not advice for the preacher, or the lecturer, or the teacher. It's advice for those who hear. So there's a tendency for the godly things to be hidden, which is a slight surprise to me. You want it to be available for those who truly want it, and you don't want it to be in the way at all of those that don't. The problem is, of course, you do want to reach those who might want to hear it. How do you do that best? I've taken the view so far that I can do that best by using YouTube. It might be better, though, to simply give my recordings to those people who I meet, rather than giving them my card, which tells them how to follow me on YouTube. It'd be better to give them my recordings. And therefore, you would give to those that ask. They won't ask unless you talk to them and let them know it's available. And of course, as you start to let them know, you get feedback as to whether they're interested or not. And if they're not, you don't go any further. You don't keep on, and you don't give them the recording anyway. That would be pointless, if not troublesome. Do you see, you have to make the teaching available, but not too accessible, because you want to limit it to those that it really will benefit, not those that don't want to know. It doesn't mean to say you're not lovingly concerned with those that might not want to know. It just means that they're not ready to hear yet. And if that's the reality of things, there's no point in behaving as if they were ready to hear. I suspect that the best solution is simply to be according to your values, and those that are then accordingly attracted to you, you can help. Or at least you can find out if they do have ears to hear and know whether to go further or not. This is the opposite of the mass production approach, isn't it? Where you run your own television program and you broadcast it to all and sundry, and you do everything you can to have millions of viewers, It's very personal, like bringing up kids, isn't it? You very much focus on your own kids. entire neighbourhood. I must think about this further. Thank you, Dad. Well, it's too costly to give everyone a copy of your recordings, especially if you've got the number of recordings I've got. So I do just give them a card and they can track it down on YouTube if they are so inclined. But I don't advertise widely other than that. That's the only advertising I do. And in some sense I'm trusting then that God has me meet and remember to give a card to such people as I do. And, well, it was hard to begin with to just give people a card that, says my name and YouTube reference. So I was encouraging myself to be more freely to do it. But now I'm thinking the other way around. I should be more selective in who I actually give. That I'm looking for leading, if you like, that I should give this one a card. Rather than assume I should give this one a card. I've had some very good reactions when I talk to people in the course of daily living whom I seem to be relating to. I think only once, I'm absolutely clear, once they said no thank you and gave the card back. Which is an extremely low percentage given the number of cards I've given away, which is probably well over 1,000. Well, certainly somewhere around that number anyway. So I'm not going to get a fantastic following, to say the least. That's okay. I have put it out there and it is available. It's not just available according to the number of people I happen to meet and give a card to, but word of mouth of those that do find it of value. They will tell others as well. Oh, that's good. Thank you, Heavenly Father.